you take a video? Well done. Hey, couldn't have had me better. You would have loved it.
One of Kirk's friends.
Oh, okay.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Okay, the one coming out of the bus. That's the other side. Yeah, the other one we met. As we came in, as you there. There she stands out with the longest hair, blowing her nose with the good.
You finished school yet?
No, I just came to the squad.
Okay. Oh, you're up to him? Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to start off by just saying on behalf of the family, I wish to thank you all for being here today and gathering in this sacred place to honor and celebrate the life of James Walker, a beloved soul whose presence touched each one of you in unique and lasting ways. This is a time of sorrow, but it's also a time of great compassion and gratitude. Gratitude for the memories you carry, the love you shared, and the legacy James Walker leaves behind. Whether you knew him as a parent, a sibling, a friend, a colleague, or a neighbour, your presence here is testament to the impact you have on each and every one of you. I'd like to ask you all to be standing and join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive them who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the power, the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you. Please be seated. We'll start with the eulogies now. Would Kim please be... Everybody, please try and speak into this microphone so we could introduce it.
Thank you everyone for joining us today to celebrate the life of my dad. It is a very sad and unexpected passing, and it shocked all that were close to him. I would like to share some of my own memories with you all. My mum and dad arrived in South Africa from Scotland in 1974. With the three of us, myself, Kirk and Quintin, all under the age of 5 years old at the time. For a few years, life had its ups and downs. My dad changed jobs and my mum had her bouts of homesickness. Then, in 1978, my dad was offered a job in Secunda, and life here for us began to settle. My dad embraced the South African lifestyle completely. He went through the 70s dressed in safari suits. He also thought it a good idea that Kirk and Quintin dressed the same as well. He even had my poor grandpa dressed in one when he came to visit from Scotland. Boy, was I thankful I was the only daughter in the family. He enjoyed rugby and was an avid fan of the Sharks and Springboks. Dad loved the braaiing and would always try new ideas with recipes with meat on the braai. He also made a mean potjie. Once, on a works weekend away, there was a potjie course competition organised. You can imagine the dismay amongst all the South African competitors when my dad was announced as the winner. A Scotsman, really? When we were little, my dad was always the teacher of practical things. And although I am the eldest, I was always the slowest learner. Kirk and Quintin were riding bikes before me. They would be speeding down the street, and I would be trying to catch up with my dad still holding the saddle of my bike. When I turned 17, and it was time to teach me to drive, well, I was a lost cause. Kirk and Quintin were already boy racers, and my poor dad's patience with me was wearing thin, as I always seemed to forget to use the clutch when changing gear. Needless to say, my driving lessons were outsourced. As most of you know, patience was not my dad's strong suit. However, things were a little different when my dad taught me to swim. I loved the water, and while Kirk and Quintin were clinging onto the edge of the pool wearing water wings and inflatable tubes, I was climbing onto my dad's shoulders and jumping into the deep end, screaming with laughter, minus wings, inflatable wings and an inflatable tube, as my brothers looked on in sheer horror. During our teenage years and well into our Secunda life, all three of us took up horse riding. My dad became head coach of the junior gymkhana team. He would give up endless weekends to be out at the club training all the young horse riders. His success saw a few consecutive years where the junior gymkhana team received their Northern Transvaal colours and obtained the necessary qualifications to proceed to the South African Junior Championships. I was part of that achievement and would not have accomplished what I did if it wasn't for my dad's dedication and coaching. In 1980, my dad started working for Fluor as an electrician and remained with Fluor till he retired as a senior construction manager in 2013. He had an undeniable work ethic, was incredibly hardworking, with sole purpose to provide for his family. To my dad, family came first. Even in his retirement, if either of us needed his help, he would drop everything. My dad doted on all his grandchildren, some of them near, some of them far. He taught them the same foundations that he taught us in life. My son, Kirk Jr., Dad's eldest grandchild, reflected that his granddad taught him the essence of chivalry and how to be a gentleman. He said his granddad helped shape him into the human being he is today. These last few days, as messages of thoughts, prayers and condolences have been flooding in, within those messages there are the same resounding words: legend, gentleman, friend, respect, one of a kind. That legend, that gentleman, and that friend to me was someone I was very proud to call my dad. He was one of a kind, and I loved and respected him wholeheartedly. I will miss him terribly. So Dad, I hope you're up there having a whiskey with all who have gone before you, spending hours bringing Mum up to speed on all that happened over the last 15 years, catching up with Eva. I'm sure little Caitlin was waiting with open arms to give her granddad a big kiss and a cuddle. And Dad, wherever you are, when you go out for something to eat, I hope your food is warm and your plate is piping hot. You are forever in my heart. I will love and miss you always.
Okay, when I sing Morning is Broken, the lyrics are on the in front of you, so please join me.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think as Kim mentioned, a heartfelt thank you to all that have joined us here today, both here in person and online. Thank you for being here as we celebrate the life of our dad, James Walker. Beyond today, we celebrate the life of an extraordinary man, my father, a man who lived 85 incredible years filled with love, laughter, and adventure. And as I stand here today, immensely saddened by his leaving us, but I'm also so happy and grateful for the quality of life that he had, particularly the latter part of it. His life was full of fun and adventure, full of friends and family, smiles, laughter and love. I was fortunate, very fortunate to have my dad by my side as I grew up in this world. He was a role model, a friend, and a pillar of strength. His moral compass helped guide us through life's challenges. His work ethic, as Kim mentioned, was inspiring and really had a major impact on us. And he had this ability to keep working on problems over and over again until he found a solution. He instilled in us the value of perseverance, discipline, and hard work. He taught me never to give up. He taught me to push through obstacles and to strive for excellence. And I'm truly grateful for the countless lessons that he taught me, the memories we shared, and the love he showed our family. My dad and I have always had a good bond. Even growing up, him and I got on very well. But as we grew older, our relationship grew stronger and stronger. And in the end, we ended up incredibly close. I was his go-to person and he was mine. And truthfully, that's going to be the biggest adjustment for me. Is just not being able to call him and reach out and chat to him or take his calls at night. My dad had a heart of gold, and his love for his family was unwavering. He was always there for us, through the good times and the bad, offering guidance, support, and a listening ear. He wasn't the type of man to go and sit in the pub with friends for hours. He chose to rather spend as much time as he could with his wife and his children, and we felt that and we loved that as we were growing up. My father loved traveling, and him and I went on many trips together, both locally and abroad. He loved exploring new places and trying new things. And some of the best memories I have of my dad is him and I traveling and exploring together, trying new food and seeing new places, and just seeing the happiness on his face during these times is forever etched in my heart. And we had such great laughs traveling together. I remember, for example, having to explain to him in Thailand what the ladies on the street meant when they kept offering him a happy ending. Really confused him at first. I also remember trying to persuade him to stop converting the cost of every meal back into rands, as this was driving him crazy. I remember being within the Serengeti one year to see the Great Migration, and we were on a game drive in a vehicle with about 7 other tourists. Many were avid bird watchers. And by day 2, my dad just couldn't take us stopping it and to view every bird that was spotted. And he sternly admonished the game ranger and reminded him that we had spent good money to come and see animals, not effing birds. Never shy to speak his mind. But from that moment on, there was very little bird watching going on our trip. But even on that trip, my dad ended up making great friends with the bird watchers in the end. Laurel and Liz, watching online now, have sent through a beautiful message of condolences. Speak to that. They're still great friends of ours today. My dad was a difficult guy not to like. My dad, like me and the rest of the family, loved good food. And him and I, and as many of his grandkids as possible, we eat out at restaurants most weekends. And as Kim alluded to earlier, those that have eaten out with him or eaten with him at all know that he has this little quirk or obsession about needing his plate, not only his food on the plate, but his plate to be hot, very hot. That was his test whenever anything came to the table. And he would send his food back with a remark to the waiter, and that was tend to spoil our entire lunch. So it would be a scene and a burst of anger. So all of his kids and grandkids are very well drilled now in having to talk to and to prime all waitrons to take double sure that his plate is hot. Because if it wasn't, oh boy, he would be pissed off and he'd let them have it. I think now, Kim and Quintin, we're going to miss having to make sure that Dad's food is piping hot. I know you used to roll our eyes and say, oh my God. It's those little things that we're going to miss the most, I think. My dad, as you know, was a gentle, caring and loving man. But like most of us, he did have a couple of trigger points. Cold food and cold plates were one. I think the other one that stands out for us is the golf course. And those that have played golf with him will know. That was probably his biggest trigger for anger ever. I used to remind him often when we played golf together that, Dad, this is where we're here to chill and to relax. He nodded his head in full agreement. Yeah, you're right. But sure as shit, as soon as he hit a bad ball, he'd be cursing and swearing and going on as if the world was about to end. Nothing could calm him down. And if Quintin and I were playing with him and we hit a bad shot, he'd be swearing at us. I remember one particular anger after a bad shot. He chucked his golf club high and far and landed it in a tree that Quintin had to go and retrieve. He was swearing at us to get it down, as if we'd thrown it up there. So golf had some strange way of pissing him off, yet somehow it did him good. It seemed to allow him to vent his anger, so we encouraged him to keep playing, and that he did for the last 15 years or so. He's played twice a week and made good friends doing it. But generally, apart from a few things that irked him, like bad golf shots and cold food and overpriced meals, my dad was a very chilled and very charming gentleman. And he loved good company, he loved good music, and he loved dancing. He loved the dancing. Those at Featherbrook, the retirement village, will know that. He was always the first person up at the dance floor, encouraging everyone to come up and dance with him. He just loved to dance and party. Something that Kim and Quintin have got from him. Even at the Featherbrook retirement village, where he spent the last 15 years or so, he would be the first guy on the dance floor, leading the way at every party. He made the most of all the parties and made lots of friends through them. But we'll miss Dad in his party spirit. But by far my father's greatest joys and his happiest moments was spending time with his grandchildren. He was always up for that, always put a huge smile on his face. I would sometimes call him out of the blue on a Saturday and say, look, I've got Kai and Dre with me. Do you want to meet for lunch, Dad? And he would immediately say, let's do it. He would never turn the lunch offer down. Without hesitation, he'd get up and weekend after weekend, he'd come out with us. He loved to laugh and chat and to share in their adventures. He gave them love and guidance and attention. And his grandkids were the apple of his eye. He taught so many of his grandchildren to swim, helped them ride their bikes, taught them how to fish. He helped them in any way he could. He was always so committed. In particular, I remember how much he loved chatting to young Kirky, my sister's son. Kirky was one of his favorites. My dad's face would light up with joy when he saw that it was Kirky calling. Because Kirky stays in the UK and he didn't get to see his granddad that often. And they would chat for a good hour at a time. He had a very special bond with Kirky in particular. But he had a special bond with all of his grandchildren. He had a real passion and love for them. And his legacy lives on through the countless memories they shared and the lessons he taught them. So as I look back on my dad's life, I'm filled with gratitude for the time we had together. I'm grateful for the lessons that he taught me, the laughter we shared, and the love that he showed all of us. While his passing leaves a void in our life, I do take comfort in the knowledge that his spirit will live on through us. Dad, I miss you dearly already. And I miss your guidance, your support, and your love. But I know you will always be with me in my heart and in the lessons you taught me. Rest in peace, Dad. Your legacy will live on, and your memory will be cherished forever. Thank you everyone here and again online for the role you all played in making my dad's life happy, for making him smile and laugh and have fun. He lived large, he lived well and happy. And that's thanks to the family and friends around him. Thank you.
Amen. We now have a slideshow, James. But before that happens, I'd just like to express our gratitude of the family to young Kirk, as he was called earlier, the grandchild who lives in England, who put this all together and to look happy to enjoy today. So, over to you.
a tough one to follow, isn't it? You can see that. Yeah. Fortunately, I've left my glasses in the car, so that's a good way to start. That's all like everybody's like that. Now, let me see if I can get through this. Yeah, I'd actually just also like to start off by thanking a couple of people that that helped us to get here today. Definitely the staff at the ICU, at the doctor, our dad. While he was there and made sure kept him comfortable. Just how they really cared for him. That made things a little bit easier. Barbara, to you and Sonia, for how kind and compassionate you were. And just to help us, make these arrangements, help us through this as well. It really meant a lot. And also you treated my dad with dignity after you passed, so thank you to that. Obviously to the streaming team here, to set this up for everybody so they could watch online. It took a lot of last little hitches, changing of things and formats, but yeah, we got that over the line, so thank you and that. Roger, for helping us through the service today, keeping us on track in that side. There was LCB who was in the background that made the plaque for our dad, that will be placed there just outside there with my mum and next to Caitlin. They worked tirelessly to make sure that it was ready. Obviously, we've also got some catering offers, and Chantel and the team there, they've put that together and made sure it was going to be, all be fitting for us. And then to Dale, a piper, who managed to get the last minute and get that sorted for us to help us through that and rock up and play some tunes. My old man loves the piper, and yeah, thank you for that. And then a big one we've all said to Kirky. Although he was far away, he wanted to be here, but he pulled that through for us, and that's the 4th time I've seen that. It hits all the notes, and it still cuts. Yeah, so that out of the way. My dad. Where do I start? Well, for 85 years, Dad was here with us from being born in the Second World War, 2 years after it started. Well, basically was in his first year. For being an apprentice at Massey Ferguson, back in Scotland, back in the 60s, to retiring as a senior construction manager that my sister mentioned, and sometime in the 2010s, I can't remember when he retired, after our mum passed away. To meet it, just a little bit more personal stuff, to meeting our mum in a dance hall in Ayr, and knowing that from the moment he put eyes on her, he was going to marry her. And that led to being a dad to us 3, a granddad to 5 grandkids, and a great-granddad. From growing up when mail was sent by ships to being able to send an email and use video calling to chat to us where we were all over the world. From picking up his young family and moving us to South Africa back in the 70s, to traveling to Ireland, or to Thailand, Singapore, San Francisco, Ireland, back to Scotland, so where he could reconnect with his brother, his wee brother, and family and his friends in Scotland, and then back to Ireland. Yes, he kept himself well-travelled, all over the place, and Mongolia, from working long hours at SAST, sometimes he would leave in the morning and would not be back for 3 days to golf, and then investing in horses so that he could stop the 3 of us getting into trouble. So if it wasn't golf in the morning and then horse riding in the afternoon, yeah, and let me tell you that he kept us busy because we were trouble.
You too were trouble. That was good.
To the early morning wake-ups for work after we'd been on a night out and only got in at 3 o'clock. Like, come, get up and go to work. To the start of the 2 Ocean Marathon for us, the Amishova, Ride Dingle, and not letting us get into his car to go to work if we didn't have our boots polished. We were the only 2 people that would have to walk around the construction site with polished shoes. Everybody else was like allowed not to, so that was quite a tough one sometimes. And even through all of that, still meeting us at the finish line. From surviving the Cuban Missile Crisis, and Mum's great Christmas and school holidays ideas for Kirk, Caitlin, and Tristan, and also what we put him through as his 3 kids. I think it is fair to say he had plenty on the go and had a full, eventful life, thanks to all of us. I know there's plenty I have missed, but there's one thing that has stood out over the past few days for all of us, and Kim and Kirk picked it up. It's all of you here and online who have spoken about him, and just those comments and what you've said. That really that stands out to a true testament to how much he was to all of us. Sometimes he rubbed people up the wrong way and maybe they were not his cup of tea. But you know what? It's just been those comments that come through and how everybody has just said that. Some of the other parts that you really stands out as where you guys, we all know when you wanted to go out and have a bite to eat, who was the one always wanting to get the bill? Yeah. Yeah. And when it was out to wanting people to, he always also wanted people to excel, succeed, and give people a second chance. And at the end of the day, he just cared for people. For me, that was my dad, and this has also been reinforced by yourselves by being here. I know he was very proud of Kim, Kirk, and me, and loved to let his friends know. Also know that he was also very jealous with his time when we were around, and did not like sharing. But that just shows you what Kirk alluded to of being a real family man. He loved his family. But saying that, he had a very big heart, and there was always room for one more person, and he was not afraid to meet new people and try new things. Something that we all share and do. So, Dad, you gave us many moments of joy and happiness. Many moments of stress. And only one moment of true sadness and heartache. We will really miss you, but know that you are watching over us, always. So until we meet again. Thank you.
I'd just like to read to you from the Gospels, just one or two short pieces, because I think they're pertinent to someone who is loved so much. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe it also in me. My Father's house had many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. And whither go ye know, and the way ye know. So it's just a short message, really, that just that this man, wherever he is now, up there, will never ever be forgotten. This is a family that has a great deal of love in it, which makes it an honor for me to actually be here today. And for that, I thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to say a few words before we continue?
I'm probably one of the people in a unique position in that was a work colleague of James long before entered the family. And that transition was quite difficult, I must say. So I knew of James Walker because I used to work in Durban for the same company. He was in Secunda, and I had heard of James Walker and his reputation. I was then sent for a time to Secunda to do some work. And the first time I met him in person, I remember quite clearly, was a Saturday morning. Must have been 2003. And it was quite strange because he had this reputation, but all he did was sat down with me, and we must have spoken for maybe an hour or hour and a half. And he just didn't speak about work, he spoke about life. And strange enough, his 3 children, he spoke about children. Obviously with great pride, it stands out in my memory. So after 2003, we obviously still working for the same company. I bumped into him a few times. I was transferred to Johannesburg, so sort of bumping into each other was more regular. And then around 2009, I had to be forced into the family, as it were, through my relationship with Kim, which was quite difficult. It was a difficult period, not because of me, because of other issues. But it was a bit strange because I always felt I was tolerated, as it were, but never really accepted. I was Kim's partner. I was tolerated, and it must have been, it was early 2010 actually, when Kim's parents had come up from Secunda for a weekend. And we got through the Saturday. We managed to get through that. And on the Sunday morning, I woke up and went to the kitchen to go and get something, coffee or whatever. And James was in the kitchen at the same time. So I thought it was going to be a bit awkward. And he walked across and grabbed me and hugged me. He gave me a big fat kiss on my lips. Now, anybody that knows me will know I'm not the huggy, affectionate type of person. So I dashed out, immediately left the kitchen, dashed back to the bedroom to Kim, and I said, no, what your dad's done. I can't believe it. And then Kim went on to explain, and I don't know whether there's any truth in it or not, but she went on to explain that that's the Scottish way, show some affection, love, etc., etc. So that is the day that I thought, well, I've now been accepted into this family. So throughout the years, that was 2010, throughout the last 15 years, whenever we've met, he's always trying to give me a hug and a kiss, and I've avoided a lot of them, purposely trying to avoid them. But fast forward to very recent. We came back from England beginning of July, 3rd or 4th of July. It was his birthday on the 7th of July. We had a get together, I think, on that Saturday. And I'm very fortunate that Easter came back. And he took me aside that day, had a few words. And before he left, he gave me a hug again. He tried to give me the kiss. Which I probably ducked again. And just thinking back, I probably shouldn't have ducked it. I should actually go and have a kiss.
Amen.
I've just got another one. Thanks for sharing that, Alan. That was beautiful. Quite fun. Thank you. Friends, there's a message here from Eva's family. A lot of you will know my dad's partner for many years, Eva, from the Featherbrook community. Eva's sadly also passed away earlier this year, but her daughter Kathy and Kathy's beautiful daughters have sent a message to my dad that I'd like to share with you. It goes, you meant the world to our gran, and through her, you came to mean so much to all of us. From the very beginning, you brought light and laughter into our life, and in so doing, you became part of our family. It was never just about the two of you. The joy you shared spilled over to everyone around you. We will remember how you could always bring a smile, whether with a cheeky comment, a funny story, or simply your easy presence. You had a way of drawing people in and making them feel welcome. And with Gran, you gave her laughter, companionship, and love. And through this, you gave us joy as well. Family gatherings were brighter because you were there. Your presence added warmth, your humor added sparkle, and your care for her added a sense of peace that we will never forget. It is difficult to say goodbye, but we hold on to the gratitude for the love you gave her, for the laughter you shared with us, and for the memories we will always carry. James, you will remain part of our family story, always remembered with love, with deepest affection, your family.
James Wood, who he couldn't do this via the streaming service, but I just wanted to read out a few words he sent through to me. James, I just wanted to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude and impact you had on my life. Your presence in my early years played a massive role in shaping who I am today, and for that I'm eternally grateful. Your influence and tough guidance contributed significantly to my development, and will always cherish the memories and lessons learned from you. May you rest in peace. May God be with you always.
I've been asked to give a message for the family, which I will do just in a minute, but before we do that, can we pray, please? Loving God, you alone are the source of life. May your life-giving spirit flow through us, filling us with compassion for one another. And in our sorrow, give us the calm of your peace. And at last, when our earthly course is finished, may our Lord Jesus Christ give his love to light the dark corners of death, kindle our hope, and let grief give way to joy. Amen.
Amen.
You know, I think that Kirk asked me to carry on and do this message from the family, and I think there's no better message than what's on the back of this order of service. And I'll read it out for now. The man that we called Dad, he never looked for praises. He was never one to boast. He just went on quietly working, for those he loved most, and his dreams were seldom spoken. His wants were very few, and most of the time his worries went unspoken too. But he was there, a firm foundation through all our storms of life, a sturdy hand to hold on to in times of stress and strife. A true friend we could turn to when times were good or bad. One of our greatest, gave us our greatest blessings, the man we all called our dad. I think that's particularly lovely. And I mentioned before that coming into it, I've never met this family before, but you could tell the love in it almost palpably, and I really, it's so nice that I've come across a family like this. Because in my business, I often come across from broken families and a lot of stress and strife. So thank you to all of you for doing what you are to your father. That more or less concludes the service. Well, it does conclude the service for now. So, is there anything else anyone would like to say?
Is there one more song?
One more song. Of course, the hymn Amazing Grace. Please be upstanding. Thank you, everyone. There are refreshments in the larder. Whatever that is, I'm not sure where they are. That's over there. Did you manage to pick most of it up? You're a bloody genius if you did that.
Thank you very much.